This is Enthusiastic Woman, the podcast, broadcasting from the Enthusiastic Woman worldwide headquarters, where every day we birth success. As usual, I am Miss Shannon, here with my good friend Judy Carter. Hello, Judy.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Also with us, Samantha Masalia, as always, is here as well. Welcome to the show again, Samantha.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. And we are actually on location for this edition of Enthusiastic Women. We are here at an event being put on by Brand Experience. We are part of the Women Who Influence panel that's going to be happening here at the Urban Growler. And so, just to bring everybody up to speed, normally when we do our Enthusiastic Women podcast, we do it from our Enthusiastic Women worldwide headquarters. In each episode, we cover 3 segments where we have we talk about a number of things. And we are a podcast where we analyze, discuss, and parody trending topics in pop culture and insane products and what they try to sell to us. So it made total sense that we would hit the road and come here to the Women Who Influence panel. And the person who was kind enough to ask us down here is good friend Gabby Reese. Hello, Gabby. Go ahead and talk into that microphone.
Hey.
Hey. So, Gabby, what brings you to the Women Who Influence event?
Ooh, that's a really tough question. Well, women, of course.
Good answer.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. What brings me here is I want to inspire, encourage, and empower women who are in the community and who are doing great things, helping out in the community, as well as helping out other women. That's what brings me here.
Well,
Nice.
Thank you very much for having us. We appreciate it. And we do often talk about a lot of insane products. We're going to do that today. And so, Gabby, the other things that we're going to do is every episode of Enthusiastic Women, we have 3 segments. And so we have our first segment, which is called Product Displacement. And product displacement, we usually talk about a particular product and brand and whether their efforts are a hit or a miss. And so, Gabby, today we are going to talk about fast food, and we are very often hungry for fast food, but we want to know whether we should continue to be thirsty for sexy fast food mascots. So we're going to cover that today. Then we are going to go into our second segment, and our second segment is one called Did You See This? And you might find this one interesting as well. And Did You See This? We usually talk about a topic that we saw in the news. Today we are going to talk about something that made me want to throw my phone when I saw this article. We are going to talk about Ancestry.com's latest wrong turn in their attempt to attract new customers. And then we're going to do our final segment, which is called Does This Make Me Old? And in every episode, we have our Does This Make Us Old segment. And today, we are going to talk about what Judy has coined as sharenting. And so this is basically about the fact that although we are all fans of social media, sometimes do we take it too far when it comes to our kids? And so we appreciate you letting us come out here, Gabby. We appreciate it being part of this event. We know that we have a number of sponsors over there who are helping you make this event a success. I saw Hippie Feet and Fangirl Minnesota and Soul Fit Minnesota. Mansion is here as well, and Beet Vodka, which is really cool because they make the vodka out of sugar beets. So that was like a little interesting. So we will go and have our cocktails later, Gabby. So we appreciate it. And then tell us a little more about what the actual Women Who Influence part of the event is going to be, the panel that's coming up later.
So the panel is going to be different women who influence the community, as yourself, Shanna.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be discussing about techniques to running your business, how you guys got started, and which different media fields you guys are in, and how do you maintain yourself in the spotlight.
Perfect. All right. So I'm excited for that part of the afternoon as well. Well, thanks a lot, Gabby. You look like you want to go and have your cocktail, so you're welcome to stay with us, or feel free to go and mingle, and I'll pop back into the podcast if you find something interesting.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you very much.
Gabby.
All right. So Gabby is going to go and have her cocktails, and we ladies, Miss Samantha and Miss Judy, we are going to move on to the next segment here. You guys ready to go ahead and do a little product displacement?
Sure am.
All right. Well, here we go.
It's about to go down. It's about to go down. Are you ready?
Product displacement today is enthusiastically brought to you by Brain Fire, courtesy of our enthusiastic woman wellness coach, Sandy Waters. So we're going to talk about Brain Fire in a little bit. But first, in product displacement today, we have we are talking about thirsting for fast food mascots. And so, Sam, I believe you have this article here, and we're going to specifically talk about KFC first.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and tell us what you have with this article here.
Here's what's going on. Earlier this month, Kentucky Fried Chicken unveiled a new maybe sexy, computer-generated Colonel Sanders.
Yes.
So they launched a social media-driven campaign centered on Instagram and teased on Facebook and Twitter that featured the new Colonel as a quote-unquote silver fox, or as some have taken to calling him since, a full-on Kentucky Fried Daddy.
Gross.
It gets better. So physically, and you guys know, we've all been perusing the pictures of this, he's an interesting blend of old and young facial characteristics and body features. So he's got the salt and pepper hair and that big mustache that we are all used to from the Colonel.
Yes, the quintessential Kentucky Fried Colonel look as far as that goes. The glasses are pretty similar. They're a little hipstery, but pretty close.
Absolutely. And then he's got a full-on six-pack, which is unusual for the Colonel.
Especially if he is partaking of his own food. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I've tried to summarize this for myself, how I would describe him. This is where I landed. It's kind of like if one of the Hemsworth brothers was also your sexy grandpa, which is disturbing.
Well done, Samantha. Well done. I can jump on board to that description.
So KFC did a whole social media campaign. It had its own hashtag for the Colonel, Secret Recipe for Success, and positioned him as a typical influencer who's living his best life. It even generated created a computer-generated girlfriend named Dagny for him. And it's the work of ad agency Wyden Kennedy, who have consistently won a lot of awards for producing culture-influencing campaigns for brands, from Bud Light to OkCupid. They were the ones behind the 30th anniversary Just Do It campaign that featured former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick. And also the Old Spice, the Man Your Man Could Smell Like campaign.
Okay.
That was them as well. They were with KFC.
So the thing I think is really interesting when you look at these ads, like, for instance, he does have the Secret Recipes for Success tattoo on his abs. You have that going there. I also noticed that one of the things I thought was interesting is that they had basically, I think that at this particular point, KFC went all in on something that we've talked about before, Samantha and Judy, about sometimes spoofing your own brand is the way that you talk about your brand now. Yes. Is to go, okay, we know that we've had this particular brand for a really long time. People think that the Colonel is really goofy, so we're going to go all in on this goof.
Yes. Yes, I mean, I think in my mind it is absolutely a parody campaign satirizing influencer culture. And I think that begs the question, how do we feel about sexy fast food mascots?
Well, I have a few things to say first, because I haven't chimed in yet.
Please.
First and foremost, I want to say that I feel really bad for the Sanders family. Any of the family members that have to see this and live through this.
Have they poisoned the legacy?
I apologize on behalf of whoever has done this to you. And second of all, I want to say, if we didn't already think that social media influencers were close to breathing their last breath, I think this is going to be one of the final nails in the coffin.
I agree.
Because they're calling, in these posts, they call him a virtual influencer.
Correct.
Yes.
And if they can make a weird virtual, this is as cheesy and as bad as it gets. And so Gen Z already hates social media influencer culture.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, you guys are done. Because they don't even want to pay influencers anymore to do things.
Right.
They're going to offend every last living member of the Colonel Sanders family and do this. Okay, and then let's move on. What do we think about sexy mascots? Okay, back in 2015, if anybody's on Twitter and was on Twitter then, will remember that they hired a guy to be a sexy hamburglar.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which was creepy.
It was creepy, but it was so funny on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did we have fun with him?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it even really went anywhere, because it just sort of like showed up around Valentine's Day.
Extra
Everybody on
fizzle.
Twitter made like really funny GIFs about it, and every once in a while he shows back up on Twitter because we'll make funny GIFs about it. God, that was a funny thing. And then there's also people who are weird that just think mascots in general are sexy that aren't supposed to be sexy.
I don't understand the whole point of thirsting over a fictitious character, but I
it's
also
not
don't
for
like,
me
you know,
either.
I'm not sitting around there overly thirsting over anybody that's in a movie most of the time. Maybe the particular person, or if I see them do a really good interview, but I'm pretty good in my brain of turning off the, okay, that's not a real person. And so, but I do think that, you know, when I'm looking at some of the Instagram posts that they did with the, what did they call him, Sam, again? The
Kentucky Fried Daddy.
Yes. You know, on the Eagle, a.k.a. the Big Chicken, a.k.a. my private jet, just finished my taxes and got a refund thanks to TurboTax.
That's
and
the
so,
other thing he's doing. He's working with TurboTax.
right.
Oh,
and so
they're
like,
bringing
all the
in
cross-branding
Yeah,
is
they're
amazing.
bringing in everybody. But the comments, I mean, if you look on Instagram, the comments are mixed between people liking it and people hating it.
This particular post got over 17,000 likes.
Wow.
And then on Twitter, the comments are all like, God is dead. Delete your account. You know, everything is over.
Right.
You know, like the Twitter just straight up is having no time for it. Instagram's maybe having more fun with it. It's interesting to see the mix.
Well, I think that it really does post more to Instagram because it's a matter of having the video content and the visual photo content that they've created with this guy. But then also they did do a lot of stunt events. Like they bought him a Ultra Music Fest set and had him come there, and he had him like a marshmallow / Dead Mouse style KFC head, and he did a DJ set and had this really corny like accent. So I think that they clearly know that if they didn't go all in on how ridiculous this is, that it wouldldn't work. So they have clearly committed to the ridiculousness of this concept. And that part, as a marketer, I'm like, okay, good on you. Because if they had made him sexy and intentionally really wanted him to be sexy, I'd have been so skeeved out. It wouldn't work. But the fact that they know that he's kind of a dirtbag and they push him towards that, and that they're trying to go, well, this is what you think of, back to Judy's point about how they clearly have no respect for social influencers.
Right.
Because they're going, dude, if you are this guy, a lot of the campaign is don't be this guy.
Right.
This guy is such a D-bag that nobody's going to be a fan of him. And so I think that part is super fun to watch them just pound on the concept of what influencer works.
Yep. You know, the fast food mascot that has always creeped me out. I mean, I didn't love Hamburglar, but I was okay with it. But Burger King.
Burger
Oh,
King
the Burger
never
King.
made sense.
And they went Burger King went full on into rapey as their
That's what I
aesthetic.
thought. I agree. Like
Yeah.
at first he was just awkward and but he was so lurky
He was.
that I felt like it was a little disparate that he was supposed to be this kind of like
benevolent king.
Correct. And he would come by and bring you snacks and you go, okay, thanks King for bringing by the
But
snacks.
he always appeared out of nowhere, right?
You know, and so there was some where it's like, don't be in the bed. And he wasn't always in the it was weird when he was in the bed with like anybody, where to have him suddenly appear in your house was just strange.
With like the mom, and he's in the bed.
Yes.
Yep.
And sometimes he was in with the dad. It was just weird
Yep.
that he was just around in like these super awkward ways. So I never understood why they thought that it did get attention, but it didn't make me want to go and eat anything that he handed me.
And he was selling a Whopper, and the tagline was "Have it your way." And then he was peering in the window of some woman's bedroom.
Right.
I just no.
Okay, so if we had to make a mascot for Enthusiastic Woman,
Yes.
what would you guys have? What would you choose, Sam?
I have more characteristics, personality traits.
Okay.
So my vision board includes a lot of things that are unique to Pamela Adlon. I think she embodies a lot of what our mascot should have. So she is self-accepting.
Oh, so it's a woman.
Maybe. It's just the characteristics of Pamela Adlon. Doesn't have to be a woman. Doesn't have to be any particular thing. But I love what she stands for as a person and a professional.
Okay.
So, aesthetically, it's creating opportunities for women.
See, now I went the other direction. That is so benevolent. I was thinking if we were going to have a mascot, I was thinking that it would be like a balloon animal style squirrel, like a really enthusiastic pet, but something that you're like, okay, I kind of want something that was not only a little bit feral, but also kind of cute feral.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
something that kind of happened in the wild, and then I could see us maybe putting a business suit on it.
I love
But
it.
I was thinking a pet type
Yeah.
animal thing.
No,
I-
let's back burner my vision board.
I was-
and let's talk about this.
I was thinking like an article of clothing